If you can hear my voice tonight, know this: you are not alone. We gather here as Americans, brothers and sisters in the grand tapestry of our republic, driven by grief, united by reverence, and steeled by an unbreakable resolve. We stand not only to honor Charlie Kirk, but to draw a line in the sand for the freedoms that define who we are. Tonight, we mourn a patriot who gave his life in defense of the freedoms of this great nation. But we also heed the call to action, to vigilance, and to love of country that his sacrifice demands. Charlie Kirk's assassination is not just a personal tragedy. It's a blow struck at the very heart of liberty. It is a wound to the foundation of America, a nation where debate is not silenced by the gun, where the unpopular idea is not met with violence, where disagreement is not grounds for destruction. He believed in the power of words, the sanctity of speech, and the right of every American, regardless of creed or conviction, to speak, to question, and to seek the truth. He carried this message to college campuses and communities across our land, never faltering in his belief that freedom means allowing even the most controversial ideas to be heard, debated, and challenged. Let us be perfectly clear. The First Amendment is not just ink on parchment, nor is it a slogan for campaign trails. It is the living covenant of our republic, forged in the fire of sacrifice and defended by generations. Our founders knew tyranny firsthand. They gathered in secret, risking lives and fortunes because a distant king denied them the right to speak, to question, to chart their own destiny. The First Amendment was not born to shelter hate or shield violence. It was born to protect honest debate, to foster progress, to preserve the right to worship or not, to assemble, to criticize, and above all, to seek the truth. They fought not for vengeance, but for vision. They saw an America where each citizen, no matter their walk of life, would enjoy the God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are not just words. They are the sacred inheritance for which patriots like Charlie Kirk have laid down their lives, generation after generation. But we now stand at a crossroads, as Americans have so often before. The threats to liberty have changed their faces and tactics, but the duty before us is unchanged. Sometimes the threat comes from without: tyrants, kings, foreign powers. Today, it comes from within. It pains me truly, deeply to say this, but the threat that looms over our freedoms, our Constitution, and our way of life now rises from those who claim to be our leaders, our fellow citizens, our own political parties. We are called to be guardians of the Constitution, defenders of the Republic, and stewards of the liberty handed down to us. It is not enough to hope that someone else, somewhere else, will safeguard our freedoms. We must all rise, each and every one of us. We must debate with passion, vote with wisdom, and call out corruption and hatred wherever they rear their heads. Disagreement is not disloyalty. Dissent is not betrayal. Let no one convince us otherwise. For if we allow our nation to be divided by those who would weaken us from within, we risk losing the very soul of America. Political parties and platforms come and go, but the principles that bind us must endure. If any party, any movement, any leader undermines the freedoms enshrined in our Constitution, we must oppose them with everything at our disposal. Our first weapons must always be our voices, our votes, our unwavering commitment to open debate and honest disagreement. Let us remember Charlie Kirk's courage. He faced opposition not with violence, not with hate, but with conviction and clarity, using truth and reason as his shield and sword. But let us never forget, when all peaceful recourse is exhausted, when freedom itself is truly at risk, the legacy of the American patriot is to stand firm. Not in hate, not in vengeance, but in love for this country and the generations yet to come. We pray it never comes to that. We pray that reason, dialogue, and democracy will prevail. But we must be prepared, as our ancestors were, to defend liberty against all threats, foreign or domestic. Let us speak now with honesty and courage. Today we face a new kind of danger. That danger is not a foreign king, but a domestic adversary, one that masquerades as progress but is in truth a slow corrosion of our freedoms from within. I speak of the Democratic Party as it stands today. I wish it were otherwise. I wish that every American political party stood for the Constitution, for liberty, and for the rights our ancestors fought and died to secure. But today, the Democratic Party has been overtaken by voices that do not love this country as they should. Too often, their rhetoric and their policies undermine the foundation of our freedom, seeking to silence opposition, to shame patriotism, to divide Americans, and to erode the rights guaranteed by our Constitution. This is not a partisan attack. This is a sober warning. When any party, no matter its name, loses sight of liberty and instead seeks to gain power by dividing Americans, by demonizing dissent, by undermining the rule of law, that party becomes a threat to the republic itself. The Democratic Party of today, through censorship, through attacks on free speech, through efforts to rewrite history and limit honest debate, acts as a cancer within our body politic. If left unchecked, it will destroy the very freedoms it claims to protect. But let me be clear. Our answer is not vengeance, nor hatred, nor violence. Our answer is to protect the sacred trust given to us by the founders and by every patriot who ever bled so that we might be free. We do not meet darkness with darkness. We do not answer tyranny with tyranny. We use our voices, our votes, our engagement in public life, and our iron commitment to the truth to root out this disease. If you are a Democrat and you love this country, I urge you, look honestly at what your party has become. If you see the truth, you know it is up to you to demand change from within or to leave a party that no longer stands for American values. If you are a Republican, a Libertarian, an Independent, or simply a patriot, this is your moment to stand firm, to reject the politics of division, to insist on leaders who cherish the Constitution and protect the rights of all Americans. We must not be silent. We must not stand idly by as our freedoms slip away. If debate and the ballot box fail, history reminds us that it is the right of a free people to rise in defense of liberty. But our hope, our prayer, is that our voices and our votes will be enough. Our founders faced down tyranny from across the sea. Today, we must face down the threat within. We do so not because we hate, but because we love. Love for our families, our freedoms, and our country. Charlie Kirk gave his life not out of hate, but out of hope. Hope that America's best days are still ahead, if only we remember who we are. Let us honor his sacrifice not by sinking into violence or despair, but by standing up, speaking out, and never letting the flame of liberty die. This is our clarion call. This is the moment for every American, regardless of party, race, background, or creed, to rise up in defense of the freedoms that were purchased for us with blood, with sacrifice, and with unwavering faith. We must remember, the freedom to speak is the freedom to dissent. The freedom to worship is the freedom to believe differently. The freedom to assemble is the freedom to stand together or alone, proud in the knowledge that our rights come from God, not from any government and not from any politician. Let us lay aside division and recommit ourselves to the ideals for which Charlie Kirk stood. Let us honor his memory not by more violence, not by hatred, but by defending the rights for which he gave his life. The freedom of speech, the freedom of thought, the sacred right to question authority. Let us vote, let us speak, let us act, not as partisans but as patriots, so that the flame of liberty may burn bright, now and forever. Let us call out those who would censor, who would shame, who would divide, who would pit American against American for political gain. Let us reject the cancer of censorship, of division, of rewriting history. Let us champion the principles that have made America a beacon of hope for the world. Let us demand of our leaders that they cherish the Constitution, that they protect the rights of all Americans, and that they serve not themselves, but the noble cause of liberty. If ever there was a time to stand up, to speak out, to defend what is right, what is good, what is true, it is now. The blood of patriots cries out from the soil of this land. Do not let our sacrifice be in vain. Do not let our Constitution be shredded by those who crave power over principle. Do not let our freedoms be trampled by those who would rather rule by division than govern by consensus. We are the inheritors of a legacy born in revolution, tempered by adversity, and sustained by courage. We are the stewards of a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all are created equal. We are, each and every one of us, charged with the sacred duty to defend the rights of our fellow citizens, to confront tyranny wherever it lurks, and to ensure that our children and grandchildren inherit a country worthy of their dreams. Tonight, in the memory of Charlie Kirk, let us resolve anew. We will not shrink from this fight. We will not be cowed by intimidation. We will not surrender our rights or our responsibilities. We will speak with courage, vote with conviction, and stand with resolve. We will not allow the cancer of division, of censorship, of constitutional erosion to spread unchecked. We will demand renewal, demand reform, demand that American political parties, especially the Democratic Party, return to the principles of liberty, of unity, and of respect for the Constitution. If change does not come from within, then let us make our voices heard so loudly, our votes so decisive, that no party, no politician, no tyrant can ignore the will of a free and sovereign people. Charlie Kirk's life and death remind us of what is at stake. Freedom is fragile. Liberty is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for our children to do the same. Tonight, let us each pledge, before God, before each other, before the memory of all patriots who have gone before, that we will stand guard over the ramparts of liberty, that we will not rest, will not falter, will not abandon our duty. May God bless Charlie Kirk. May God comfort his family and all who mourn him. May God open the eyes and hearts of every American to the truth of this moment. And may God continue to bless and protect the United States of America. Let this be our clarion call, our rallying cry. Freedom will not perish on our watch. Tonight we grieve, tonight we remember. But tomorrow and every day that follows, we rise, united in purpose, unyielding in spirit, resolute in defense of our country, our freedoms, and our rights. This is the promise of America. This is the legacy of patriots. This is our charge, and we will not fail.